know it's not the end of the road, but I feel cheated, I guess. Cheated. And I feel like it is unfair. However, I do take complete ownership of it because Hi guys. So I wanted to do a video on talking about how I failed a class and regrouped and the whole drama with that. So since I've been in nursing school last year, I ended up failing a class for a few reasons. Well, at least 3 things I know that I could have or should have done differently. And one thing is I took accountability. So after I failed, I was like, okay, I cried about it, I went over it, the whole thing. So anyways, the second week of class, we have 8-week term. So the second week of class, we had an assignment that was due. And I looked at the rubric wrong, and I thought that I could, as long as I got over a 60 on this particular assignment, like, then I would be good, right? So I turned it in. I had like I don't know, I think it was a 69 or 70 or something. So I did the assignment, turned it in. It's like you do this module online, and then whatever grades you get from it, that's what you put in this like template and turn it in. So I turned it in. Well, I looked at the rubric wrong, and that 60% that I thought that's all I needed to get a 60% to be done with it. Actually, that portion of the assignment was 60% of the grade, not me needing to get a 60%. So that was already the first strike. That was the second week. And honestly, I had a thought in my mind then to say, hey, go talk to your professor. But I was like, no, it should be fine. Like, I should be fine, right? So I did really bad on that assignment. So that was mistake number 1. I should have talked to my professor to see if I could redo it and then just get the deductions of turning it in late versus the low grade that I got. Because I mean, turning it in late would have been like, I don't know, was it 5 or 10% each day? So I could have done it, you know, and only had 10% take, you know, done it and did it to its completion and got just 10% taken off instead of, I don't know, I think it was like half the grade. I can't remember right now. So that was the one thing. Then the second thing was we had this, like I said before, Chamberlain was rolling out a lot of new protocol and new things, right? So they had this new assessment test that we didn't have any study material for. It was kind of just like to see where you were, see how much knowledge you knew since you've been in the program, right? And so the professor didn't really have a lot of information on it. So we took the test and I was like, so do we get paper? Because usually when we take our exams, we get scratch paper. And she was like, no, you usually don't need scratch paper for my exams. You should be fine. Well, we took the exam and there were like 3 or 4 med calculations on it. And so like literally I'm like in the test kind of waving my hands trying to get her attention to see if I can get some scratch paper, but she never did look up. And it's proctored, so I just was like, okay, let me just try to figure it out in my mind. So anyways, this particular exam, nobody does well. Like the national average is like a 60. So of course that's what I got. I got like a 60 something on it. So that was strike number 2. And I'll talk about more about that when I get to the end of this story. So then the next thing was we have this group project with a few of the other ladies, and I hate group projects. They are the worst, but this particular project helped me to see that I need to speak up and not be so passive, which is not my nature anyway. But I just felt like, okay, I don't want to take over the group. I don't want to show my type A personality as far as like being just too much. Like, no, this is what we're gonna do, and just kind of taking over everything. And so this one girl was kind of like, oh, I got it, my section, you know, blah blah blah. And yeah, we didn't do good on that. We actually did really, really bad on that group project. So with the 3 of those things, I end up failing the class by, we need a 76 to pass. I failed that class by a 75.99. So had I listened to the Holy Spirit, now that I know that's what it was, in the beginning in week 2, and talked to my professor and been like, hey, can I just redo this assignment and turn it in late? Or actually said during the exam, hey, professor, out loud, can I get some scratch paper? You know, instead of just being, again, passive about it. And then even for the group, just kind of like taking charge of what needed to be done that we lacked in. And so, I mean, I cried and cried and cried, because if you fail a class with Chamberlain, the classes are offered every other semester. So I wasn't able to retake that class. I couldn't just retake that class next semester. Next term. I had to wait another term to take it. And so there are several things that go along with that. Like, you have your friend group, your cohort that you just kind of familiar with, you know everybody, y'all, you know, work together. And so now going into a different cohort with different people that I don't know, I was like, oh my gosh. And then it sets you back from graduation. Like, I was supposed to graduate July of 25, like the summer of 25. And it pushed my graduation back till, like, the last term should have been July 25. Well, this last term will be the November term. So it pushes you back, I don't know, what is that, whatever it is, 8 weeks, or no, 16 weeks. So, because it's 2 terms. So those were the things that I learned. And then this term now that I'm in, we just had a group project, similar situation. We had this girl who just did not want to pull her weight. Like, from day one, she was like, I was like, let's do Monday morning and meet. And she was like, and this term, I'm not even the lead. I wasn't the lead on the last one. I don't even think we had a lead. That wasn't even a thing. It was just like we worked together. But this particular class, we had a lead for the group. I wasn't even a lead, but I was like, I had set up the group meet. I had set up the Google Doc so that way we could share our work. And so anyways, I was trying to set up Google Meet so that way we can meet virtually. And this one girl, I was like, what about Monday morning? And everybody was like, yeah, we could do Monday morning. So this one girl, she was just like, I can't do Monday. Let's do Wednesday instead. I have a lot of homework to do. I'm busy. Ma'am, we're all busy. Like, we're all in school. Like, what makes your work so much more heavier than the next person's? So she said, what about Wednesday at Wednesday afternoon? So I was like, okay, so Wednesday at 1 was our time. Scheduled the meeting through, again, I'm not the lead, scheduled the meeting through Google Meet, sending it out in the group meet. Everybody's good. We're getting ready to meet. asked me why the person who suggested the time did not show up. Okay? So then the next week we had a meeting. She shows up for that one. Then we meet 2 other times after that, and she doesn't show up. And so here it is, the week of us having to submit the project, and I'm like in the twilight zone, because I'm like, I start calculating my what if grades. So Chamberlain gives you an option, like you can look at your grades, and the grades that haven't been put in, you can put like what if grades in. So okay, out of 200, what if I make a 150, or what if I make 100? And so this particular project was worth 250 points. So I was like, okay, what if she take 100 points off? So that's 150, right? And so I was like, put that 150 in. I was like, looking at my grade, my core grade, because you got a core grade and a supplemental grade, and your core grade needs to be a 76 or above. So I looked at my core grade, and it was like, what was that? Looked at my core grade, and it was like a 73, I think. And I was like, oh no, I am not going back doing this again. I'm not failing this class because of a group project or because of somebody else. So I put that in the thing, and I was like, look, this group project is worth 250 points. It's a core grade, and I'll have a meeting with the professor before I fail this class, because if we don't do good on it, it's a possibility that we could fail the class. And so then everybody else was chiming in. So it's not just me knowing that she's slacking and realizing that she's slacking. It's like everybody in the group. And then she turns it around like, well, you know, you guys wasn't being understanding, and I have to work nights, and I have to do all these things. I have to sleep, and I have to get my rest because I'm so tired. We're trying to pass. This is week 6, and there has been times when you turn in an assignment on week 6 and it's not graded until week 8. And by the time you look at it, you trying to email your professor and trying to get your grades. Can you change? Because this happened to me last time. Can you change my grade because blah, 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 all these things at the last minute. No, you will not catch me like that again. So I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. So I emailed the professor, and I was like, look, at this point, this week 6 is due this Monday or Tuesday. No, this actually was Wednesday, and she still hadn't done, we each supposed to do 5 slides. She still hadn't done a slide. So I'm emailing the professor like, okay, this person has not contributed anything. Hasn't showed up. She's only showed up to 1 meeting out of the handful that we've had. And just to be ahead of it, to let her know what's going on within our group. And so she just was like, y'all need to split up her slides and do it, and then I'll talk to her, which was fine. But she ended up doing it. We ended up making 100% on it. But I was like, yeah, me failing that class taught me lessons that helped me throughout the rest of this program, as far as speaking up for myself when I need to. If I feel like I was slighted on a grade, not just pushing it to the side and dealing with it later. No, dealing with it up front, and every point that I get counts. I need all my points, and just to be diligent about my grades and being proactive and making sure that I'm graded fairly, and that I address it head on and not wait to the last minute to try to address it. So anyways, that's me failing the class. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Do you want to fail a class? No, nobody ever wants to fail a class, but can you bounce back from it? Absolutely. Will you learn from it? So that's any failures is like, okay, what did I learn from this? And that was the first thing I asked. Okay, how can I take ownership of it? And what is God trying to teach me in this moment and going through this? And that is to speak up for yourself and advocate for yourself, and not be passive when it comes to these group projects, because it could cost you a pass or fail. So yeah, I tell anybody it hurts. Like I was boo-hoo ugly crying, okay? And then last term, my professor put in a grade and I almost failed again. And so that was another boo-hoo crying because I was like, Lord, please, I know I'm not going through this again. But so that's a whole nother story. And anyway, she changed it for me and I was grateful for that, because the mistake that she tried to dock me for, that particular assignment, we have to do these care plans and we don't have any type of guidelines for care plans. So I went based off of what I understood the question to be on the care plan, and she was telling me, no, that's not what you should have put there. So she docked me for it. And I was like, yeah, no, I need guidelines for this, because if that's what it is, I need you to show me. Nobody has never told me that up until this point. And so I don't feel like I should be. Now I know going forward that that's what that question is asking me. But before then, like, we had no type of training, no type of a walkthrough of it. So I just I just completed it based off of my knowledge. So yeah, and I was like, no, I'm fighting this. Like, there is no, I've worked too hard to try to stay on top of my grades to get to a point where I'm failing again. And I think Chamberlain only give you 2 times to fail. So that's out. So anyways, I am officially a senior and I have 1 year left. So this time next year, I'll be finishing up my last class with them, and I'll be getting ready for graduation, Lord willing. So I hope this story helps somebody. I hope that it inspires somebody, especially going back to school over 40. I'll be 43. I'll be 44 on my birthday, which is in February. So 43-year-old college nursing student, it already comes with all these extra voices like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not fast enough, you can't do this. And then to fail on top of all of your insecurities that you have within yourself is trying, but it can be done. I mean, I did it. I mean, I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it. As long as you, like, my motto since school started is 1 assignment at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 term at a time. And that's what I have lived by my entire nursing school career. And that's helped me along. So I just keep praying. I just keep moving. And in some classes, you just have to kind of adjust. Like, she was talking about she needed sleep. And I'm thinking like, girl, we ain't getting no sleep around here. We ain't getting no sleep around here. And then come to find out, she did make the last meeting. And one of the girls was like, so what class are you taking? And she was like, oh, I'm in 222, which is like one of the first nursing classes. And then we was like, okay, so that makes sense. She's just getting started. She has no idea what she's about to walk into, because it just continues to, the further along you go, I feel like the more it gets more harder than when you're just taking your prereq classes. Like, she's still taking prereq. So just not being aware. And I'm like, we're all busy and struggling and working and have kids and families and lives, but you can't don't put your struggles on somebody else. Oh, I'm busy, I have to work, I have to sleep. That's not nobody's concern. Like I told her, we didn't tell you to register for this class. That's not my business. That's not my problem. I have a whole laundry list of excuses, because at the end of the day, that's what it becomes, is excuses as to why I can't perform to the best of my ability. But when you're working in a group project, you want to make sure you're not the weakest link. And that has been my goal in everything that I do. Like, I don't want none of my members in my group telling me, oh, we can't do this because Monique didn't do something. That's not happening. I'm not doing it. That's just like, so you have to set your standards a little bit higher, work harder, and know that you won't be the weakest link. So again, I hope that has inspired someone, and it will inspire someone, and just keep moving forward. That's all I can say. people like, you going back to school, you 40. I'm like, I can live, what if I live till I'm 80? I got 40 more years to work and enjoy life. Not that I want to work till I'm 80, but if I want to, I can. How about that? Thank you. And your education is something nobody can take away from you. So that's just it. Just, if that's your goal, pursue your goals and your dreams, and thank God along the way. So peace out.